Welcome back everyone to ESL One Hamburg 2018, day number 5 overall. Day number 2 here inside the Barclaycard Arena, and things have already begun in game number 2 as far as the draft is concerned, so we'll drop you into that pretty much straight away. Gents, Cap, we'll start with you. Game 2, paiN approached it very similarly. Think you had a good draft in the first game, nothing too much wrong with it.
I still like the draft, yeah. I'm even okay with like the early opening of the Brewmaster. Mostly because I think for a lot of teams, you can put it into that support position. We haven't seen that yet from paiN, I believe, but I also like it the fact that it denies it away from Team Aster. Right. Honestly, I was pretty okay with their draft all around.
Anything in there, Trent, that you think they look at Aster and go, yeah, we don't like playing against that, the Earthshaker, for instance, the Undying. Are they thinking about that first phase ban this time around?
I think it's probably the Terrorblade I'd be considering a lot too, because I feel like they countered it so well, and yet Sylar he did Sylar things, you know? He did his classic Terrorblade, so I would guess that probably won't make it to the second phase in this game unless there's some like really necessary bans to go with instead.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Sylar, because we didn't give Kyle a chance before we had to go to the break to talk about Sylar, because it was another great game.
Oh yeah, I mean, I watch him. There's a very few small portion of the player base that's so good. Like the double Sunder in the Roche fight, right? That was cool, but holding the BKB as he was ticking down to Phoenix Spirit, like under 200 HP, it's almost like he's a computer. Like he doesn't have to like consciously think, there's no panic. It's just, he knows he won't die, he can save that cooldown. He makes these little efficient plays throughout the entire game, like just no choking, no mistakes. And you can't stop him, so I agree, you know, maybe you don't want him to play TB, but I think that Undying is more of the issue. Sylar's always going to carry.
All right, Prophet banned out by Aster. Ogre also banned again. This time paiN have left the Weaver in there, though. That was the ban that they made third time round. They've removed the Phoenix instead. Are they hoping to get that Weaver?
I would think so. More likely for themselves. I don't think they want to have to play against it, but it's also not something you first pick, so. That was the situation last time, though, right? Where they banned it out even though Aster had first pick, so.
Hoping to get it on the rebound. Is it first pickable for Aster here, Kyle? As a deny?
Maybe, but
okay, maybe not.
I like this because you really don't want to play Shaker into Necro.
There's the Weaver.
And I think you need to take Shaker, to be honest, even though it's not necessarily ideal. The Silencer works too. That's cool, and it denies the Earthshaker pick to follow up. It's very good against Necro too.
Yeah, Necro has a lot of problems with Silencer. But he also itemizes for him very well naturally, so it's a little bit of back and forth.
And I really like this from Misery as well. You make that tiny tweak in your opening bans, but in addition, you're prepped for the Aster opener. They just first picked Necro. You're like, all right, we're going to run this back. They chose either second pick or Dire in this scenario, because Aster once again is getting that first pick selection. It's same as yesterday, right, where Misery feels prepared. He thinks he gets a read on what Aster did and why they won. And he's like, let's run this back.
And you could actually see there, they were discussing it. They had the Earthshaker. They were thinking about it, and they switch over to the Bane. I'm just going to play it a little bit safer.
Yeah. Strong in the laning phase, but still very susceptible to Silencer. It's pretty unpleasant playing that in the mid game against him.
But in the laning phase, you have the superior matchup, right? Bane's able to beat out both of those, both the core and the support that paiN had picked up. I really would have preferred if Team Master actually switched it up and opened with the Brewmaster, simply because of the versatility of being able to switch him into the support and then read what paiN we're going to pick up after that, because it does feel like Necrophos is going to have a hard game now. Yeah,
and we can talk about things like, well, Silencer counters Brewmaster and all that kind of stuff. I mean, Silencer counters every 4, because the point of playing position 4 is that you're supposed to initiate at those key moments, and obviously Silencer is very good at denying that from you. However, when you think about someone like Earthshaker, I would say it's actually not that bad in a lot of games, because like the global is something that it only happens once the fight has started. You know what I mean? So if you're getting the jump, you can still play very aggressively, but you can't counter initiate, which is definitely the big problem there.
And you oftentimes can't get your full combination, right? You're going to blink Echo, and you might not get Fisher or enchant Totem off.
Yeah, and paiN reminds me a lot about, like, I guess just like my style of Dota when I was playing, like how I enjoyed leading a team and strategizing. It's all about brawling, about taking fights and being really strong in the mid game and kind of just banking on your ability to outfight your opponents.
To not dive past the tier 3, though.
Yeah, well,
you never quite got there. Yeah.
But this combination of superior team fight and the ability to rotate one core out of one lanes is really critical, I think, for paiN's success. And it's part of why I don't want them to play up against something like an Undying again, because you can't utilize this brew to win fights consistently when you're playing up against Undying and Necro and the Shaker. Like, how many 3-man Echoes did Baboka get that game? Like, paiN doesn't necessarily tunnel vision, but, you know, they're all aggressive, so eventually you're going to catch them out.
And I think that's in part why they also banned the Phoenix, right? It's like these heroes naturally, because they own a certain part of the team fight, they stifle aggression.
Yep.
And that's what paiN wants to be able to do, especially with this Weaver pickup. But we've seen HFN move around the map. You know what's funny is that what they could have used actually in the last game for paiN, because they didn't have a tombstone hitter, was their support Ursa.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Yeah.
At this point, paiN still taking a long time actually on this ban. Typically, you kind of wait until like the picking phase. It feels like usually you kind of have this one prepped up and you've got that next hero and you're waiting to see what Aster are going to go for. But
Yeah.
really considering maybe D-stones.
This is tough for paiN because you have to ban and to immediately pick, and you kind of need to decide on the pick before you make the ban because you don't want to waste it. It's not really two separate conversations. You need to decide on both in this moment. I like the Bloodseeker ban. Obviously, it's just like a one-to-one Weaver counter. I think that you got to be a little afraid of maybe a Sylar Void already. I could see them busting that out 4th pick. Really strong against Weaver. You have to time lapse. Yeah, the time dilation where you can't invis for far too long to survive.
That Earthshaker is the one who set up the Terrorblade for a lot of success, and paiN also still have the core counters to the Terrorblade they can still fall back on. They're going to go for Tavo's Enigma rather than the Brewmaster, but they also have the Tinker in their back pocket as well.
Yeah. I like this choice. I think it's a much better pick in this scenario. You know, Aster can't really get away with a Wyvern.
Yeah.
They banned the Shaker too.
But aren't you a bit upset that they're willingly picking Enigma into 2 BKB piercing disables?
It's definitely an issue. I feel like you're more on like the aura-focused Enigma when you go into a situation like that.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, you'd love to be able to use Black Hole. It's kind of a good spell.
Yeah.
So
It's at the same time though, Necro Bane have a lot of issues dealing with minions, like illusions and or creeps, and the Eidolon plus an HOD can be really effective, and these heroes don't come online fast enough, and they have no way of like getting back into a game. A Necrophos on the back foot without map control doesn't feel the same if you can't be playing aggressively on enemy side of the map. Like, you never want to be like pushing out a safe lane against an Enigma that's then going to take 2 camps in your woods as well as clearing the way.
You know, I was just checking Team Aster and during the bans. As soon as I saw that Earthshaker, I was like, well, you need an Initiator still to replace that. Earth Spirit's the best one. It's just Team Aster have not played a ton of Earth Spirit. They had one in the game earlier against VP.
But it's Baboka. Going all the way back to DAC 2017, he played like 2 or 3 heroes mainly, and the Monkey King that we've all talked about, but specifically that Earth Spirit, arguably the best in China at the hero, and it's already excellent. You have the reach that.
well, my boy Dogfights wants to have a war with you here. All right. Don't be.
Is he here? Oh, he did
Leave
make
him
it to the
alone.
land. All right.
Dogfights was a one-hero wonder.
Hey, but he was wondrous.
Bobaca had 3 heroes. No, I do agree. It's more about it's surprising to me that they're not willing to pick more Earth Spirit in their games.
Yeah, it might be that he gets a lot of priority too, so he just kind of gets his stuff earlier on.
Yeah, Invoker's still in the pool.
So, Drow?
Yep,
Weaver and Enigma, get the Silencer.
This is a great Drow game, actually.
It's
You didn't have to think
looking
about that for
pretty
last
good.
pick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to pick it already, though, revealing all 3 of your cores from the
No,
start?
I don't think so.
You want to go for your other support right now.
Yeah, but you're not going to get it.
You might.
You think Aster ban that?
We'll see, I guess.
I mean, I think you just want to know. Like, you may not get the Drow lineup, but at least you're going to be able to know what Team Aster is going to be running.
My
and
thought
you'll be able to
process-
still do Tinker, Invoker, and such.
Hello.
I would think that it would be like Weaver support too, though, right? Like if you take the Drow.
I love Tusk in this game. It's great synergy when you consider like it's another what would it be called, like attack-based thing to spawn. The sigil, you have the bugs. You synergize really well with heroes like Enigma. The Eidolons are quite slow even after the buff, but
GPM talent.
tons of damage output, GPM talent exactly. And yes, hard save against a Bane, a Necro, and an Earth Spirit. That's so critical.
Yeah.
There's very few things that can cancel Necro ult damage. It's pretty much Oracle, Bane Sleep, Tusk Snowball, and
Gone back for the Terrorblade.
Tusk Weaver is a super obnoxious duo to run against. So now that leaves paiN with, I mean, they can still get the Invoker. They still have the Tinker. Is there any other mids that counter Terrorblade really well?
you could. It's a great
I
Zeus
guess.
game.
Yeah.
but
There's Necrophos and Bane.
I mean, it's still...
I mean, it's so good with the Tusk, too, because as soon as you get the Nimbus, Tusk can, in fact, lock someone down in the Thunderdome for at least 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Boca ban for paiN.
Yeah, just makes sense. I mean, don't let these guys win a game on land. It's Invoker.
Yeah, you got to ban Zeus or Tinker here. And that's the other option, most
If
likely.
you're Team Aster, which one's more threatening?
I think it's Zeus. You have enough to hunt the Tinker, but a Zeus just does so much damage, and you come online so much faster.
I think the Tinker's missing his friends in this game, too. He doesn't really have anything to TP onto. There's no Brewlings, there's no Helm. Well, I guess you could do Helm on the Enigma, actually. We'll be okay.
Yeah.
I'm a bit concerned with paiN's lack of reach, though. This is a game where I feel like Misery's going to want to save Snowball. Or is it King RD on Tusk, probably? He'll want to save Snowball defensively, but if you don't have any ancillary initiation, it's very easy for a Tusk to just find himself in no man's land because you're the only guy capable of actually getting on top of the Aster heroes.
It's like your Enigma is going to have to go for the sustain build, and he's going to have to almost be a frontliner. He's going to have to go the Crimson Guard build. I guess that was the one part that I did like about Enigma, is that out of the offlaners who can build those sustain items, he easily farms the fastest.
Tinker man.
That's the one paiN's played, and they won the game with it. So.
I think it maybe warrants a bit more simply because of that. Like, Weehao's already like a little warmed up there. It does have the Helm Dominator from the Enigma. It's also protected by Global Silence, which lets you go like a little bit like crazier in the team fights than you normally would. So,
and I think as a general rule, the common knowledge in Dota is just like beat us with something else. You know, even if a hero might be a slightly better matchup, you don't want to lose to something the enemy team already showed you, right? Like, make them replace that win. And again, as you said, being warmed up, it's different when you go into a match and it matters. And you're playing a hero you've been on 20 times, 30 times in the last couple months, and like maybe this is your first game in 3.
yeah. Seen that plenty, that's for sure.
So the Zeus remains their priority right now, depending on this pick from Aster.
T-Stones, what do you got?
I think
He's played...
It's
Lena
Lena again.
Yeah, they've had a couple of games on Zeus this year already. Both of those in the Dota 9, Dota Summit 9 qualifiers, both won as well.
I think it's got to be that.
You got a little bit of time to consider at least. About 40 seconds, they don't have to lock into it right away, but by default, it certainly looks like a strong one. I mean, there's definitely threat there from the Earth Spirit, right?
You could bring back the Wee Pugna. His first ever tournament, PGL Bucharest with paiN. That was his, I'd say, best hero. I know he can play it.
Dude, I thought last game was a Pugna game for sure.
Bang.
Nice.
There we go. I love it.
Good.
Great call.
Good against the TB in some ways, once he bags especially.
Was that D-Stone's Lena a little bit underwhelming in game 1?
He just got shut down hard.
Yeah.
He got focused. Like, he was the person who took all the attention. Sylar gets to look like a god, because he kind of is. But D-Stone's definitely absorbed a lot, which is something we're kind of worried about maybe happening.
Yeah.
I think it rang true.
Yeah. I like this more than Zeus thinking about it because it allows you to apply map pressure.
Right.
If you look at Weaver Enigma, if you throw a Zeus in there, it feels like at a certain point you get to the late game and everyone's just way too squishy to go up against Sylar's TB. But now you have the ability to choke out map, play aggressively, and maintain tempo the whole game, and paiN loves to play that way.
Terrorblade hates switching targets, basically. And Decrepify really helps for these heroes to be able to play their front line, right?
Plenty of synergy on the side of Aster, as you can see. But let's get some very quick predictions, very quickly. Cap.
I guess I'll go paiN again. You know, I think they should have actually won that first game. I'll stick with them.
Trent?
Sylar Terrorblade. I don't have a choice, you know.
So neither of the teams, just Sylar. Okay.
Yeah, just
Misery's prepped this time. paiN's got this.
All right, okay, good stuff. Right then, we're ready for game number 2. Can paiN stay in ESL One Hamburg, or are Aster just too good for them? Let's find out as we head into game number 2.
Thank you, Red Eye. And as we're seeing for these 2 drafts, folk, we're seeing Aster. They know what works, so why not stick to it? Because what the 3 same cores, the D-Stones Lena, XXS on the Necrophos, and Sylar on that all encompassing and terrifying Terrorblade that we saw him bring out in game 1. paiN Gaming, they try something different. Yep. Do you like their approach this time a little bit better, or what do you sort of feel of the draft?
I mean, I do love Pugna, especially when you see Pugna and it's like, okay, you're versus Necrophos, it's always great. But when you're versus Necrophos and a Terrorblade, you kind of have that double heroes that you can pressure really well. And even the Lena in the final.
Ward?
I know you wanted the Meepo as the last pick for
I was
paiN. You were hoping
for a
for it.
Weehaw Meepo, but
I thought maybe for a second, because they were consulting Weehaw, they're like, Weehaw? And I was like, oh, it could be. That could have been pretty fun. But no, yeah, we look at Aster, and it is pretty much a very similar lineup instead of Earthshaker,
Same three cores.
Earthspirit, and Fenrir is still playing a lane bullier, right? He's playing paiN.
See, the tips this time around, Aster, they're going to send
Well,
out
they picked
Tarvo's ways.
Oh,
I mean,
D-Stones gave it to him too.
I think you do have to watch out for Tarvo. He's on his Enigma, and we've seen what he can do, so I would not be surprised if we see Aster trying their best to throw Tarvo off his game, as there is the potential for big stuff to come out for him. Obviously, both the Fiend script and the Reaper's Scythe, something he's going to have to worry about down the line when it comes to getting off those black holes, even with the BKB. And overall, as you started to mention, the Baboka Earthspirit, something from the past that we know. You know, sort of Earthspirit and his Earthshaker, sort of these two big playmaking heroes that Baboka has impressed us with time and time again over the years.
HFN eating a load of harassment. That actually is going to be pretty costly, burning down his regen quite a bit, even having to use 2 Shikuchis. And we look at paiN's lineup, they don't have the biggest ways of actual disable and keeping people in team fights, right? It's the Tusk with their Snowball and Malefice as their actual stuns throughout the majority of this game until they have that Black Hole line. While we look at Aster's, they've got Earthspirit, paiN, Lina, very, very guaranteed and more, you know, more safe stuns, you could say. As top though, the shards don't
Not going to
actually
block off
him.
Fenrir. Fenrir's still able to get away. We'll see paiN able to push Aster away from that top ring, but at the same time, Aster will be able to play him 2 down bottom. HFN did come over. Ooh, Shikuchi's just up back in time. So we'll be able to get away. Doesn't actually have the mana.
He's just going to suicide.
He is going to have to.
But Baboka gets first blood.
Yeah, Baboka...
He gets bonus gold.
He does get the bonus gold.
He gives him a thank you.
And also, the Lina was in range for XP.
No way.
Yeah, he got about a quarter of the level straight up from the XP.
Did he get AoE gold too then?
I
might have gotten a little bit of AoE
I think
gold
he might
too.
have. He's already picked up the second. He could have done so.
I think he may have gotten AoE gold as well.
So a little
actually
bit of
check
an
that.
awkward start there for HFN, giving away a little bit of a bonus to Aster.
Yeah, it looks like he did. He did get AoE gold as well.
We'll see how that sort of helps out D-Stones in the middle lane. Only really fair, you know, last game, D-Stones, he had sort of the world against him in the middle lane. This time he gets a bit of a bonus.
Yeah.
As we saw last time with the early courier snipe and such. Doesn't look like there's going to be any sort of positioning from paiN to try and snipe his courier early on this game, so D-Stones is going to be fine with it.
Yeah, nice thing about the Lina in the mid matchup is even if you're versus a Pugna, you get decrepit constantly, you have your nuke to always guarantee that you can get those last hits. And you have that that very, very far range. Even though Pugna also does have that range, you've got like 40 extra on the Lina to be able to poke, as the shards are very nice, trapping Sylar for a bit here. And this will be the lane we're watching for paiN, right? Just the pressure that's going to be coming out from King RD again, who had a fantastic time in that last game as the Phoenix in that early laning phase. And we'll see how much Misery can actually secure down bottom. As last game too, him on the Bane was phenomenal to set up HFN, but in the later stages it just got more and more difficult.
But we'll see, because last game while HFN was down here, he was playing the Spectre, didn't end up really getting too pressured by XXS and Necrophos, was still able to farm. This time he's on the Weaver, so it'll be even easier for him to find the farm without being at any dangerous top. Bit of a chase down, Sylar looking to move him with that meta, getting a few punches into both Tarvo and King RD. King RD's sort of blocked off, but he's the Tusk, still pretty beefy. As indeed, he'll be fine for now, and we'll see how much Sylar can secure with sort of this first use of the meta in the lane. Should be able to get a good wave or so. It's a big dire creep wave building up though, so that is going to push back into the hands of paiN up top.
Looks like he did get a couple of those Eidolons there though, as we see his experience, he's nearing that level 3.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Mid lane matchup, as it were at the moment. D-Stone's 10 for 3, Mihar 8 for 2. Very close once again between these two heroes, as expected.
Yeah, I mean, D-Stone's, we've said it, he got left in the dust a bit in that last game. His team definitely put him on his shoulders a little bit there. But this game he's going to have a much easier time as he's not getting his courier snipe, not getting roamed on that early game, as he does connect a stun onto Weeha.
Weeha's got the burst too.
He's got a Dragon Slave though.
So, same time up top. We're not going to see them get themselves on top of Fenrir and get the kill. They'll take down the Bane, and mid lane Weeha just survives, keeping himself out of range of the Dragon Slave attempted by D-Stones.
D-Stones did reveal the fact, I believe that he revealed that he has the fact that he has a high ground ward, but it's in a very different position. You don't actually usually see that one, but a lot of the Chinese teams do prefer this one if they're able to actually put it off. And he missed the Dragon Slip by so close. It was actually so close to connecting on Weeha. And Baboka, we've seen this a couple times from the when your bottom lane's not going the best, you always want to pull the creep wave as top. paiN commits forward.
We're going with the snowball. Does have to be careful. Sylar punching back with the illusions. Get the salve going.
This is a great bottom lane though for paiN. They've able to like, secure the waves perfectly, and with Silencer and that Weaver, you can actually bully Necrophos a bit. There's just so much damage that comes out between these two. As yeah, HFN has pretty much full free farm, and Baboka's trying to salvage by doing some creep equilibrium changes.
Another attempt onto Sylar. They won't fully commit. It's not quite the mana for both the Snowball and the Shards at the moment on King RD.
4-minute mark, Rune's going to be coming out. D-Stones as well as Weeha going to be contesting for the regen. Weeha will actually be able to grab this one.
Is under attack.
Takes it away from D-Stones. D-Stones still trying to just spam Weeha away from this middle lane. Will be successful in doing so. So despite Weeha getting the rune, D-Stones will be able to get back to the mid quicker. Again, up top lane, see what them are not matching down. It's not enough at the same time down bottom. A bit of an aggressive dive coming in from HFN as he is behind the tower. XXS will tick down a little bit to that curse.
Baboka tried to predict the movements coming up from the Weaver. So this game, the difference is that Sylar is actually getting quite pressured up top. Last game, they were putting that dual aggression, but Fenrir was able to absorb it mostly. But this time, yeah, Sylar, those denies coming in from the Enigma and his last hits are getting impacted.
Snowball's going to have to come out from King RD, but he's incredibly low. Sylar and Fenrir do have a good chance of punching him down with the remainder of that meta and the brain sap, and they will. They'll claim the kill onto King RD. Getting Sylar a bit of fortunate involvement in the kills, and now can put some pressure onto this top, really sort of shoving Tavo back. The mid lane matchup continuing to be led by D-Stones' Lina. As we can see that was D-Stones.
Look at that Invoker.
66% win rate. Indeed, the Invoker slightly better, the 71%, but nonetheless having good success with Aster here, with this showing at ESL One Hamburg so far, and being one game up in this best of three. And now in this game two, looking to be off to a similar start. It's pretty even. Sylar is, you know, maybe not quite as far as he was this stage, but he's still in a fantastic place. I mean, he's got 28 CS,
yeah.
So is HFN. Both him and HFN farming just all right on those side lanes.
Mid. Baboka starts rotating over. He sees that D-Stones is almost level 6 on the Lina, so they can easily set up for kills onto the Pugna here with that Laguna Blade, if they're able to connect. He even has the early point of the Silence, actually going for the 1-1-1 build on Baboka rather than opting for that 2 points in stun that we do see.
We'll see them set up for the 6-minute rune, see who's going to get lucky. King RD is up at the top one, and they're going to get lucky. paiN will be able to grab it top again. Haste rune this time for Weeha. So
that could save his life.
It really could. If they get the silence, they're not relying that for the extra slowdown. He's out of there with the haste.
Yeah, but Baboka, like we said, he wants to set up for this kill.
It's hard with the haste rune now.
Yeah. He forces it though.
Doesn't he get it out straight away? Weeha make sure to use that movement to get in and trade a bit back with a quick blast onto D-Stones.
Baboka might stay in the area waiting for that haste to wear off to set up for that kill. They've emphasized so much on the mid lane this game. Both wards at that nighttime being committed to protect D-Stones Lina.
It's bottom as well. Both XXS finding, well, XXS actually out of all the core roles, he's struggling the most in terms of keeping up, as you do see nearly double the CS on HFN in comparison to the Necrophos on this bottom lane. With sort of the fact that Baboka's had to walk around, rotating elsewhere, does manage to find the setup on the Misery, kicks him back, XXS chasing him down, and Misery, he'll go as Aster finds some action. Baboka rotating down bottom, but now being dove upon by HFN, will lose his life in return.
HFN?
He's got the stick charges, but that Death Pulse is going to chase him and will find the kill. So Baboka falls, but sets up a double kill for XXS, as I was just saying. Was the core that was struggling the most in the lanes. Those 2 kills are certainly going to help it.
Baboka makes his way top. Sylar wants to try to commit forward for a kill. They want Tavo.
They've got the lockdown onto Tavo as he's focused straight away. Sylar is falling very low in return, though, as they'll lose their Terrorblade for this attempt. Can they get Fenrir as well? With the TP in from HFN, they certainly can. So paiN quick to strike back, as it looked like, you know, Baboka, he was ready to make this instant TP top, keep the flow going, but they just didn't have enough firepower to get those kills before Sylar just took so much damage in return. Saw the magical being thrown out from Misery with the curse and the glaives. It's just too much for the Terrorblade in this early game.
And also when Tavo dies, he already has the Dominator finished with a Satyr creep, and he's got all those Eidolons. So that damage coming into play for sure there.
They'll get some pressure onto the top.
Very early move by HFN, just not wanting to be in that top lane, wanting to pressure as well, getting to those return kills, as Sylar will now just, he's just gonna jungle for a bit. Ideally, he wanted to have like meta up, but of course he used it top so that he could go bottom and try to pressure, but now he's able at least to farm this triangle, as we do see XXS just pressure this tower now for free down bottom.
I mean, I think as well, you know, sort of on that bottom lane, you give up a double kills to Necrophos, you know, he's gonna have the level 6. It's a very scary lane to sort of fight into. This top lane is the best place to play at that moment in time when the Necros hit 6. You don't want to fight and force any sort of action into that level 6 Necrophos unnecessarily.
And paiN already, because they're starting to get this, they're starting to get some map control. They want to get these deep wards down to watch the Terrorblade.
Lock in onto Baboka. Looking for King RD. Snowball straight across the D-Stones. The Laguna Blade will finish off Misery.
There's a shrine there.
HFN does not want to fight around it. Shikuchi and immediately backs out. With the shrine pop, this is not the place for paiN to be. King RD jukes out the light strike correct. And they will manage to get everyone else out of there on paiN. Bottom lane, HFN straight in and starting to punch back at XXS, but it's a hard hero to harass on his own. Has got King RD coming in as well.
They want to keep this tower alive as long as possible. It almost does drop, but also Weehaw mid, because of the rotation from the Lina, has dropped that down to 400 HP already too. Aster has to be aware that there's a ward in their jungle now, though. They don't really know exactly where it's going to be, but because that top tower died, because of that invasion play from paiN, they should know that they're going to be under vision in some particular location up there.
There's a very close start between these two. As you can see the net worth lead jumping between one another as we get to that 10-minute mark.
But Sylar has been, like we mentioned, in the last game, Sylar got a ton of space because Fenrir was able to secure his lane very nicely. But now versus an Enigma, it's just totally different because there's natural denies are just always going to be there and always going to play a factor.
And without a doubt, though, you can expect Sylar to catch up, no problem at all.
They want to be able to now. paiN wants to get an invasion play here and get a ward down in this triangle area because you know this team is going to be there.
Walking into the combo, D-Stone's Misery's gone, the Reaper side down, the Snowball will come up and attempt to save it. It does allow HFN to get the time lapse out. Good play from King RD, keeping his carry safe. So HFN are out of it, as we can see. And backstage at the moment, Vici Gaming, of course, keeping their eyes on the action as they prepare for then a game that will be coming up, of course, after this one, VP versus Vici. A lot of incredible matchups coming today. And all eyes on this game, of course, for the moment. Game 1 was quite a spectacle, could have gone either ways. And who's to tell which way this game 2 will go? Can Aster find that 2-0? They're relying, as we say, on the same 3 cores that were able to shut down the game in Game 1. Can they do it again? But so far, it's a close opening.
Yep.
We've seen it in the past in sort of the crucial matches against NIP, the Tavo Enigma, the HFN Weaver. These heroes, these players can absolutely go off in these positions. And so far, their opening's pretty strong to the game. HFN, as you can see, top net worth at the moment with his Weaver.
Even after having that death, too. That one costly one that he did bottom versus XXS. And we do see Tavo, he has bought the Arcane Boots. You have to imagine that he's going to be going for some type of just like aura build, like the panel was mentioning, like Guardian Greaves or something like that.
So off a bit of a poke onto Fenrir, will force a TP reaction from Baboka.
Fenrir not quite level 6 yet for that Fiend's Grip. Weehaw is making the rotation up. He wants to pressure buildings. That's what you want to do versus a Terrorblade lineup.
Yeah,
especially when you have, when you have like Weaver and Pugna, you want to kind of set the pace and get yourself at least a net worth advantage instead of allowing this Terrorblade to get and become that monster. Because we've seen Terrorblade versus Weaver matchups in the later stages of the game. Weaver has a very hard time actually contesting unless you have a huge net worth lead.
Bottom lane, just trying to force the issue onto XXS. They do have the black hole, but not really wanting to drop it, as they would still struggle with the damage output between these two heroes to take down this level 9 Necrophos.
Yep.
Success. Very hard to jump with just 2 heroes at the moment. They'll need to bring a bit more in if they want to go for it next time, as HFN will be able to steal the haste rune away from D-Stones. Diffusal blade for him. Almost certainly going to be his first time. He's got 1 blade of alacrity, 1k gold ahead of it, so will hit a very good timing.
He is going to be a bit squishy. Not going for the Dragonlance build versus the Lina in particular.
And if you can rely on King RD to make those saves with the Snowball, just buy time for him to time-lapse afterwards.
Yeah, and they have global too, right? So they have 2 ways to actually protect him, which could be pretty useful. Because he will be a bit squishy, as we were mentioning. As the move comes out, Aster, they are smoked. They're looking to put the pressure on. They want to be able to secure this bottom tower finally. Tavo speedily trying to deny it. He will get it in time, but he's going to pay with his life.
Absolutely. D-Stones, Baboka, and XXS surround him. A scythe to knock him out of it. There's also backstage VP, keeping their eyes on the game. There we go.
Hello, Pasha.
Hello, Pasha.
Top. Sleep comes out, Fenrir wants to set up for a Fiend's Grip. We also have Sylar position. Gonna commit the meta, because it's near a tower, so he can actually get this kill and maybe look to push forward. As mid, they're collapsing.
They're diving in, but Baboka's there with the backup. The Laguna Blade just comes out immediately, taking away the kill on Misery. Dive in from Archangel HFN. Can he find Baboka? He can.
Yep.
They'll get the 2 of them. So paiN able to make these plays, I believe, with that should be the goal for HFN's diffuser, pretty much done. I would imagine. Yeah, it's on its way out now. So a 13.5-minute diffuser blade timing. Very good. I think that is fast. We'll probably be able to get this down now. He did get a really quick one in the game against NIP.
Yep.
This has got to be up there as definitely a fast one this tournament. Is top lane. Sylar trying to push on the tower. The TPs are coming in. He'll go for the TP out. If they've got anything to stop it, they haven't. So Sylar gets out.
Nobody actually waking up the Enigma there. So he can actually try to go for that black hole to stop that TP. As we mentioned, the stuns are a little bit limited on paiN. They've only got like Snowball, Tusk Punch, Enigma with that stuns. The other 3 heroes don't really have any type of disables coming between them. As the move there by paiN was nice, right? They saw Aster setting up top to kill the Tusk, and that's when they got that nice dive mid. And they're just constantly making moves now.
They do.
Again.
Getting Weehar involved, utilizing the power of the Bugner at this early stage.
Yep.
There's constant pressure which they have to do. I think they know that after last game, regardless of where they are, they can't let the game go there.
He gets soloed!
The damage with that defusal, having it as early as he does, will allow him to find kills like this. TP scrolls aren't going to save you anymore from the Weaver.
Yeah, it makes you, this build makes you a little bit squishy, but it allows you to set up your solo kills.
It's insane at this stage. As mid lane as well, but Boka's walked forward. He tries to roll out, but the ball-on-ball action's there as King RD holds him in. Again, another failed TP because of the damage. It's too much from HFN.
They're keeping this pace up as they have to.
You have to do it. As I was going to say, last game, you take this late against Sylar on a Terra Blade, you're going to lose.
Yep, and look at this. They even want to just threaten toward top. They've got everyone in position here for it.
And they can push. They've got the Pugner. They've got so much siege potential. Sylar at this stage, without the Metamorphosis, he is not scary at all. He gets blown up immediately if he comes in onto the front lines. XXS, they're trying to hold them back for now. The wall's been dropped by Weehar, but paiN with the full 5-man. Holding themselves outside of the base. Tier 3 tower down to half health as they'll continue to just move in, spam the blast, bringing this tower down. As Aster, they're struggling. What do they do to push this away?
They've at least got the Lina with the Dragon Slaves to kind of slow it down, but it's getting brought down pretty quick here as they have no more mana left on Weeha and looks like they're probably going to back out.
They'll go and refuel.
Yep.
But they can repeat this sort of play for sort of the next few minutes. I mean, in terms of Sylar's items, do we see him sort of get to the BKB anytime soon? He's going to drag him up. He's got to get it. He can't afford to go for the Asher as we saw this game.
They know they have to fight.
BKB.
Yeah, they know they have to be able to take the fights because otherwise they could just lose their high ground.
The game's going to be over.
Yeah, they want to take it to the later stages for sure.
And look at this, they've got no high ground vision, so D-Stones doesn't see this. They come straight in on top of the Lina. D-Stones gets the light strike out, but the curse is down on him. He'll die. Reaper Scythe would not be enough to kill King RD. He still dies nonetheless after the scythe. They'll get the trade, but that's D-Stone's Lina being lost for King RD's support does. It's a good shot from Baboka, but the heal from Weehar should be enough just to keep the Turbo alive.
Oh, Baboka, the Ancients!
Oh. Poor old Baboka, no one likes
they're
those
gonna tip him
Ancients.
for sure. Yeah, you know paiN's definitely.
No one likes those Ancients, and Baboka certainly won't either. As they do punish him, take him down. 2k lead at the moment for paiN, but still hitting the timings. XXS is outside of the base.
They're immediately going for top too. Sylar has to be careful of his position here.
He has got time lapse. He knows there's no Reaper Scythe, but he doesn't want to dive. Knows that there's potential for a paiN to be in position to catch him out if he goes in too far. HFN, no need to play too rash, too crazy. He can rely on his team to come back in and go for this positioning again on the top lane and get ready to push. Weehar's claritying up. He's halfway towards the Aghanims, and paiN, they're ready to go for round 2 on this tier 3 siege on the top lane.
All bringing themselves. They're not going all the way back to base. They just kind of reset, made sure they had enough mana so they could go back and do this as fast as possible. They don't want to give Aster any breathing space in this game for Sylar to do what he can do on that Terra Blade.
They have to play this sort of fast, furious gameplay style. Could punish Aster's lineup. This reliance on the late game Sylar TV as they step forward. Weehar, he's safe for now as they get him in the snowball. The
Lotus Orb.
It's going to be down onto a little bit of nothing because indeed the Lotus Orb plate bringing the snowball, keeping XXS safe. Now Aster can strike back. But Boka, the 2-man boulder smash across Misery and King RD. Is it enough to finish off the kill though? It doesn't look like it because the curse is upon them all. XXS will be able to remove it with the Lotus Orb, but they had to back off. Aster, they've lost the bane. The snowball's coming in on top of D-Stones. King RD diving underneath the tier 3 tower. Misery still alive. He's just getting in there, throwing out these glaives. They've killed off XXS and Necrophos. Misery being bottled up, being saved by his teammates as he'll survive. paiN can keep pushing. They get the tier 3 tower.
They're using all of their heroes possible to defend while Sylar is just looking for farm in the jungle right now. He doesn't have meta, he doesn't have BKB, he doesn't want to be the involved one. Baboka gets the stun on Weehaw as he's walking up to go for the blast. Perfectly timing, and also the itemization in this game. XXS, he adapted. He's versus a silencer. Super annoying here to play against.
Gotta get that removal.
You have to go for the Lotus Orb, and we see the snowball play come into play here. As soon as King RD uses it, gets the Lotus Orb on himself, and the black hole actually ends up getting dodged because of it.
It does. If that black hole hits, they probably do kill XXS with that little bit earlier. The silence was still in place on the other hero, so they didn't have any immediate way to cancel it. But still, it's a play that works off the paiN. They're keeping that pressure up. Tavo with his itemization. He does now have the Blink Dagger. As top lane, a deep snowball attempted by King RD, but the turnaround's there. Lotus Orb and a Yules. Throwing King RD up in the air. We Decrepify. Reaper Side's going to come down, but he's still got a lot of health. The Decrepify saving him there, meaning that they couldn't punch him down low enough for the threshold to set in to make sure that Reaper Side could kill him. So nice save there from Weehaw. As paiN, they're back, ready to push.
And Fenrir, poor Fenrir dies on the Nether Ward. As that, they're looking to set up for this Rax here. Siler's still not ready to join the fight. BKB's not ready. He's have
close.
meta.
He is close. He's 3.2k gold towards the BKB, but I don't think it's going to be soon enough to save at least this top Rax. As the range Rax gone, paiN pushing onto the melee. Aster, can they do anything to push them back? With a constant blast harass from Weehaw, they cannot. As paiN, they've taken the top Rax at 19.5 minutes in, as they continue to hit all the timings they need to with this lineup.
And they're smoking right away. They're actually just looking to keep this pressure on, as like we keep mentioning, they have to do so. And Tavo does have a Blink Dagger, which could look to catch Aster a bit off guard. He's opted for that instead of going for more of those aura builds, and I do believe King RD is also approaching that Spirit Vessel, but there is a Lotus Orb in play on that Necrophos, as we keep mentioning too, so they do have to watch for that. And Siler, he is now ready to actually be a hero in the fray.
BKB. This is where things could change. The snowball's going to be attempted onto Baboka. He tries to roll away and TP out, but the snowball connects. The damage coming out for the life drain from Weehaw. Not quite enough to find Baboka, as Baboka still continues to hide, but HFN's on the hunt. Comes in, leads in, and now paiN, they're in position down bottom to push on. They're onto the tier 1 tower. They don't have a creep wave with them at the moment, as the Dire creeps have still held Radiance creeps backed by Radiance tier 2. They won't be able to push on past this tier 1, but still getting more gold, able to build up to sort of those next big items to add to the effort, add to the push that paiN Gaming are pulling together.
Yep. They're just showing how they relentlessly want to be keeping that net worth advantage, keeping that map control versus this Terror Blade, so they can't allow him to farm, can't allow him to approach that late game.
Thing is, as we're seeing, sure, even with the BKB, there's a lot that he doesn't have to be worried about, but if Tavo finds that black hole, they can certainly still bring him down. Hurricane Pike as well, now completed for HFN. An extra bit of strength, extra bit of bulk, and now that extra positioning capabilities. We may even see sort of sweet plays in terms of him sort of shoving Tavo into a blink play, allowing him to close the gap. As mid lane, Aster, they're pushing forward. King RD's going to go in on this. Salah pops the BKB. King RD on the front line. They've got the global, they've got the black hole. He's got 3 of them. Tavo. It's the perfect play with the blink, and they'll take down Salah. They'll take down D-Stones. D-Stones will fall back. Weehaw burns down Necrophos as well. And Salah, he went all in on the BKB purchase. He does not have buyback. He's down for 35 seconds. They can't get the Terror Blade back into it as paiN. They'll go straight down the middle lane. They'll force out the fortification. And that play, this is what I'm talking about. It doesn't matter if you've got this BKB. Tavo gets on top of them. The combination of the black hole and the global silence make it impossible for us to play against this stage. They get the silence, or straight up this tucker. They get the kill. They camera the Dragon Slave. They take a Weehaw away. Buyback comes out for Exodus, but D-Stones, that's a dieback. No Lina for 70 seconds. The buyback comes out from Baboka. paiN will retreat. With a 9k ahead, paiN know that they continue to rule this game.
That Blink Dagger, Tavo just having it for that situation. Aster, they were actually the ones who smoked, but they clumped up a bit too hard. The crucial hero getting caught, the Necro. With that Lotus Orb, he could actually be able to try to cancel that black hole, but he could not. Siler used that BKB like you said too. He was caught in it as well. The perfect situation there for Tavo.
Really is. It's paiN 22 minutes in, adapting perfectly to the way that they saw Aster play against them in game 1.
They're keeping this aggression up too. Misery, Invis, scouting out everybody.
The snowball comes in onto Baboka. They're on the high ground as they surround XXS. Good 3-man boulder smash from Baboka will slow paiN's attempts down for a little bit, but not long enough as Baboka falls. The damage from HFN too much. The Ghost Shroud only going to buy some time for XXS as he'll die again. No buyback on the Necrophos. Fenrir and Salah having to run themselves back to base. It's a triple kill for HFN. Jump forward and they'll try to go towards Salah. He does have BKB and meta, so he'll stand his ground. Pop the BKB, pop the Metamorphosis as Salah all alone for at least 5 seconds. D-Stones will be back in a couple. But now no BKB.
Yeah, they could just look to jump him if he steps up too far.
As they're pushing in paiN. Another tier 3 tower taken. They're onto a second set of barracks. Tavo goes in with a Malefice, keeping D-Stones at bay. paiN take another objective, and there's nothing that Aster can do to slow this down at the moment. As 2 sets of racks have been claimed, the Decrepit by the burst.
They got him.
He's straight up dead. He's gone. No
GG.
buyback. GG is called. paiN Gaming. You can pull the Sylar Terrorblade, the XXS Necrophos, the D-Stones Lina against those points once, but dare you try it again a second time in a row, they're gonna have an answer. paiN, they adapt to the way that Aster play, and they say, you've got to try another trick. It's not gonna work twice against paiN, as paiN now drawing the series 1-1.
This Pugna pick was just absolutely perfect by paiN. Allowed them to keep that pressure going, allowed them to just be relentless in that push. You never saw them actually back up. They're like, okay, we're threatening top, we don't get the racks, we're not gonna go reset and everybody pick up your items. No, use the courier, pick your items with that, and everybody just reset your mana at least. Bring some clarities, and we're just gonna keep going and going and going. Don't let Sylar get any space on the map. And they did it. Absolutely relentless.
They really did. Such smart approach from paiN Gaming to this game too. As we saw sort of game 1, both teams try to sort of take it late. Aster's going to win sort of that type of play. Game 2, paiN just bring this ferociousness and pace that they weren't prepared to keep up with. Aster, they wanted to take it late again, rely on the Sylar Terrorblade. paiN have shown they've got an answer. So the question is, what are we going to see in Game 3? Will we see both teams meet in the middle? Will we see one of the 2 teams try and pull out a similar strat? We'll find out. As what a Game 2, what a series this is setting out to be, as it stands 1-1 at the moment between paiN and Aster, as we send you back to the panel.
Thank you very much. Yes, 1-1, and what a fantastic performance from paiN Gaming in game number 2. The watchword being adaptation. Let's find out from our 3 members on the panel what they thought of that. Kyle, we'll start with you. You've said to me many times before, and it's kind of rolled around in my head ever since we finished the preview to this game. You don't like teams that pick again similar heroes going into the second game. It's kind of inviting the whole, we think we figured it out.
Yeah. You stole my point. I mean,
sorry, buddy.
Misery was ready, and I love that he didn't just adapt to what Aster was doing, but kind of recognize what his team excels at. And the timing, the way you play around a Pugna is so different from how you would do an Invoker. And you look at the items HFN had when he ended that game, it's like the perfect gold efficiency. Treads, Bottle Wand, Hurricane Pike, Diffusal, and Treads. You have to start replacing items, but these 6, you're just buying and adding. Like, this is peak Weaver in a way, and this is when you want to be winning games with the hero. Add on the HOD Enigma, Pugna with an Ags Aether Lens. Like, they don't have all these big items, and they don't want to have to get to a point where Sylar's like 6 slot and you're trying to take him down, because he's still owned, but.
So adaptation 1, Cap, but also pressure. Constant pressure.
The pressure is really important because I think in part they should have been able to win that game 1, but Sylar's Terrorblade just proved to be, he was just basically too good at doing his job, right? And I think in many ways they just wanted to be able to make it so Sylar never got to that point. And it was also the slowness of being able to have both a Necrophos and a Terrorblade cores. You don't naturally build up very quickly as long as they keep D-Stone's Linus down, which they did in game 1. They attempted in game 2 as well. Like, as long as they do that, there's no big playmaker out for Team Aster. Another switch up I really liked. Loved the Pugna pick. I thought it was good for game 1. Even better for game 2 because you have Kyle pointed this out to me. Better against the Earth Spirit than it is the Earthshaker, but even the Undying, right? Yeah, it's better to play against a Bane than it is to play against an Undying. It just made it an even better Pugna game than it could have been in game 1.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to get something from Trent in just a moment as well, but Kevin's waiting at the Weatherman board, so let's check in with Purge and see what magical, mystical pearls he's got for us in Wisdom right now.
Well, paiN's game 2 worked out a lot better than the first game, but there were a lot of similarities in play between those 2 matches. In fact, something I've been noticing pattern-wise, Weehaw basically camps his lane for a good 10 minutes, either here or maybe in the jungle or getting a lot of runes. And this serves 2 purposes. First of all, he's dealing more damage to the enemy tower than they're taking, and he's also making sure that there's just no damage dealt to his tower at all. So when he does make his movements later, that it's going to be more effective. And the first movements that actually happen on paiN Gaming side is usually Weaver getting level 6 or the carry HFN and going instantly to the offlane. Now here's a moment where he actually did get on the map a little bit at the 11-minute mark. They're prepping to pressure the tier 2 top tower, and they did get some damage done. They almost killed the Bane, but with Baboka sitting nearby to interrupt the ulti, he's able to prevent that instantly while they're dealing damage. And in the meantime, this tower's taking damage from creeps, and it took a lot of damage, but it was only from creeps. All the heroes were busy on the enemy team, and because he'd kept it so full on HP, it wasn't that big of a deal for them to make that kind of rotation, and he kind of weaved in and out, still kind of forced pressure. And what paiN's basically doing is they're trying to keep their options open. They know that they don't win as hard late game, so they need to make sure that right now they get things done on the map and that they have options, and they always do. They have heroes in each different lane. In this case, Tavo defending the safe lane. He ends up getting a deny here at 12 minutes. He dies for it, but it's ultimately good because instantly they collapse on the mid lane. They kill the tier 1, and in the meantime, King RD is sitting top, trying to look for opportunities and see if his allies need to come. He ends up dying here on the top lane, but it doesn't matter at all because they end up setting up so well in the mid lane where they end up killing both the Lina as well as the Earth Spirit. So it looks kind of bad for them on paper. There's 3 dead heroes, but they get the tier 1 mid for free, they get the tier 2 tower, and they end up TPing to defend this top one as well. So they just kept all their bases open, and they made plays when it mattered and got more advantage until they could close the game out.
Thank you very much, Purge. Yes, great, I love them. I could just watch those all day long and just, you know, let run the rest of the show, but we can't do that. We've also got our MVP, so let's check in and see who we've got for the MVP for this particular match. Gents, could you give me some clues? Do you have any particular favourites in here? I mean, it was such a team performance, wasn't it?
I think the big thing that I identified in the previous game was like I think we all agreed that the draft looked a little better for paiN in game 1. It looked like there were good counters to the Terrorblade as a hero overall, but one thing that was missing was that actual pressure onto like that mid lane. Like you had kind of a lackadaisical invoker, he's just kind of like hanging out. So instead, we have Weehaw here on the Pugnet. So I think that's why he deserves the MVP, because it's just like they got the correct hero, right? Where this is the thing that took away the tier 1, took away the tier 2, and then you can't play Terrorblade the same way because he's wanting to weave in between those 2 jungles over and over, and you simply can't do it if the entirety of paiN is parked there.
And I point as well, though, Aster kind of handicapped themselves. They didn't have the fights to stop the aggression of paiN. It reminds me of game planning when we used to play Immortals last season. This team had one play style. They were aggressive, and they would try to fight you at all times, and you just drafted around that and invited them to do so. Pick on dying again. paiN isn't going to change their play style that drastically. They're going to continue to try and just run at you.
Yep.
Don't have a Bane Earth Spirit against a Silencer. You're going to get wrecked.
I completely agree. I think that's why I wanted them to open with Brewmaster this game around, right? It's another showstopper. It's another team fight. You can't win into that, right? Primal Split is too good.
All right, well, still some things to think about before we get this game finished. It is a best of 3 that's gone all the way. Don't forget as well, we've got our MVP by Mercedes vote is open. You can go and vote for yourself now. You can't vote for yourself, obviously. You can vote for one of the players. I can tell you that some of the Virtus Pro players are in contention. What a surprise. But there are a number of other players who you can vote for. If you think someone in this game particularly has had an amazing game or has played fantastically throughout the tournament, head over onto the website, as you've seen at the bottom of your screen, and place your vote. Right, we're off to a break. When we come back, however, game number 3 will be here. It's nicely poised right now. Can't wait to figure out whether paiN or Aster are moving on. We'll see you soon.